Hello and welcome to Guns and Gear. Well, I'm out doing another little camping trip here. I'm going to be out for 2, 3, 4 days. And I thought I would show you the setup that I have this time. It's mid-May and the days are a lot warmer now. And so with that comes all the mosquitoes and the ticks and mayflies and stuff. Well, the last trip I was on, it was still cold and I didn't mind sleeping on the ground, but once it gets a little bit warmer and the bugs are out and snakes are out, I like to go ahead and use a hammock. It's a quick, easy setup. It only takes a few minutes. I got some dead wood here that I made a couple poles out of because I have more of an open design on this thing. Let some air through. My hammock does have a bug netting on it, and that's just an absolute must if you're going to use it this time of year. But I couldn't get the little bungee cords because of the way the trees are far enough apart, so I just made me a little spreader bar out of a stick, and it works pretty good. Alright, well, and I got one of them new Nalgene canteens. That's a nice little canteen, and a radio. And actually that's just about it. This is the same area that I was at before, and it's a lot greener now, isn't it? Just beautiful. Closed in the woods a little bit, but it's real pretty out here. All right, but that's not the subject of this video. The subject of this video is going to be my shotgun. By the way, this is his first little wilderness adventure, and he is just absolutely dead tired from running around in the woods. He's having a great time. Let me set this thing in the tripod. You know, there's a lot of videos out on YouTube about WROL, SHTF, and that real long one, The End of the World as You Know It. And well, I've never really considered myself a prepper, but I guess maybe I am a little bit. You know, my dad was big into me learning about survival, wilderness survival. It's very important to him, and he spent a lot of time teaching me a lot of things, like how to make friction fire with sticks, or drill method, hand drill. And I learned a great deal from him, building shelters and things out in the woods with just the material that you have around you. And I feel like that's good solid skills to know. I guess I do prepare, but maybe not for the end of the world, but for things like hurricanes, tornadoes that ravaged the South just a short time back. And I live a very short distance from the Atlantic coastline, so hurricanes is probably the thing that I worry about the most. At any rate, what I wanted to talk to you about, and I've showed it in several videos, is my shotgun. This one has been with me on many a camping trip, many a hunting trip. It's an excellent shotgun. The way I have it set up, I have it basically set up as a survival tool. Okay. Now the barrel length on this is 21 inches, and it's a 21-inch vent rib barrel. It didn't come with the shotgun, but it is made by Mossberg, and I think when I looked on the internet before I left the house, you can still get this barrel. And I really like it because it has the choke tubes at the end, okay, which adds to its versatility. Right now, it's being used for camp security. Now, I have been challenged when talking about camping guns and stuff, why you need a gun when you're going camping. Well, here in Virginia, it's not Alaska, okay, and it's not Libya, okay. But there are some things that you have to be concerned about. I would think the biggest threat, and that's what you plan for, is how to deal with the biggest threat, and then you can basically make do if a lesser threat should come along, is black bear. The black bear here in Virginia, the population of black bear has really grown in the last 5-10 years. They're starting to have problems in metropolitan areas or the outskirts of metropolitan areas where the bears are starting to go through folks' trash at their home and things of that nature. And there's been some video on local TV stations of that. But out here in their element, you're not going to see a bear. But once in a great while, a black bear will hunt a person. Okay. And it's for that unlikely situation that you always try to prepare for. I think the shotgun makes an excellent tool for survival because of its versatility. Okay, as for camp protection, I'm not hunting this bear. I'm only going to react to the bear or a feral hog or a two-legged critter. You know, there are some people that will see you camping by yourself and try to take advantage of that situation, mean to do you harm. A good shotgun is a very formidable weapon. Now, because it has the choke tubes on there, it adds to its versatility as a survival tool, and that's what I wanted to talk to you the most about, is the ammunition that I carry along. Now, this shotgun, by the way, is loaded. And to borrow the phrase that Ibomi uses all the time is, yes, it is loaded, and I feel safe. That's for you, my buddy. At any rate, the ammunition that I have in the shotgun right now, I have 5 rounds of 0.00 buck. Now, they're not Magnum rounds. It's 2 3/4 standard buckshot, okay? And I do not feel that I need Magnum rounds. Now, maybe if I was in Alaska and I was having to deal with a 1,200, 1,500 pound grizzly bear, that, you know, I would definitely be thinking about using 3-inch Magnum rounds, but here I do not. Okay, so that allows me to shoot the weapon a little bit easier. Now, I've also put a knock stock on this thing, and whereas it does reduce some recoil, it does make it jump a little bit, but that's okay. It's reducing the recoil on my shoulder, and for me that's kind of important because I'm taking medication now that thins my blood, and so therefore I bruise a lot easier. So this does help out a great deal with that. You'll probably, next time you see this shotgun, see a butt pad on top of that, maybe one of them slip-on jobs, and that's just because I need a longer length on the stock. Now, what I have on my side saddle is, you see right here, this is birdshot, standard number 7.5. And the reason that I had that is, hey, snakes. I was just down by a creek, near the creek, maybe, I don't know, it might be 200 yards away. Went down there this morning and see my first water moccasin of the season. And he was on the other side of the creek, and he didn't mess with me and I didn't mess with him. But that brings up another subject of snakes. Now, most of the time, I think the only thing you need for defense against snakes is a good sturdy stick. And I've killed just a boatload of snakes that way. But I got my puppy with me, and I don't know how he's going to react around a snake, and I'd hate for him to come up on a water moccasin and get bit. So there's nothing like some number 7.5s to dispatch a snake. And other smaller critters, it'll work just fine, such as raccoons and possums. Now, 9 times out of 10, a raccoon or a possum is not going to come into your camp with you there. But we have a problem with rabies, and a rabid coon just may come into your camp, and it may be very volatile, and so you may have to dispatch that animal. And you know, some small game shot is a good thing to have on the shotgun. And the rest of the stuff is 1-ounce slugs. Okay, Now, talking about the shotgun for a survival tool, and that's where the way that I have this thing set up really starts to come into play, is basically the barrel. Okay, now it does have 5+1 capacity, and that's decent. But the barrel, because it's a vent rib and it's 21 inches, it's very handy, and it gives you all the advantages of having a much longer barrel. I originally bought this thing because some of the places that I hunt, it was so thick that this was easier to swing around in a tree stand, you know, and deer hunt with. But it has the choke tubes, and right now I have the improved cylinder in there, but I do have the other chokes with me, and an assortment of shotgun shells. Now, this is basically a regular shotgun scabbard, and this one's made by Bass Pro Shops. And it has a pretty good sized pocket right here, and I just got it filled with an assortment of shells, and that assortment of shells basically is a whole bunch of number 6s high brass, and I do have some more 7.5 shot, and I got some number 4 shot, things of that nature in here. But that's where you start to get into a survival tool, and you are going to hunt. Okay, and I also have this little pouch right here which contains my choke tubes and choke tube wrench. If I'm going to go hunting, I'm probably going to put the full choke in it if I'm going to use the number 6s for squirrels, rabbits, whatever. Not the improved cylinder. Gives me more range. Now I also have these two things right here. Now this right here, and I keep it attached on this leather strap on the gun, so they're always there. This right here actually fits on the shotgun, and it fits on the buttstock, and it'll allow me to carry six more rounds if I should ever want to. And that's where I have hunting rounds, and these are double-aught buck 3-inch magnums. Okay. If I'm going to hunt, then I'm looking to extend my range, and the magnum shells and the 3-inch shells will allow me to extend that range for hunting purposes. And this thing right here is made by Blackhawk. This is really old, and it fits on your belt, but it holds 12 more rounds. And once again, that's double-aught buck and more slugs. Okay, so that's the way that I have this thing kind of laid out, set up, however you want to call it. Basically, I keep this scabbard just the way that it is, and when I'm getting ready to go camping or something, I just grab my shotgun, and you know, when I get to the camp, I put the shells in it, and I'm ready to go. Another thing I want to mention is a sling. Now this is a Butler Creek. It's a neoprene type of sling. If you're going to have a gun for WROL, SHTF, whatever, if you're going to have a gun that you intend to run out into the woods and try to survive, you've got to have a good sling, and there's just no other way around it. If you don't have a sling, what are you going to do when you shoot that deer? How are you going to get that deer to camp? Okay, you sling your rifle, you wrap a rope around the deer or whatever, and you drag that thing out of there. If you think you're going to do that with one hand when you're carrying your shotgun in the other hand, you will, but you're going to be very tired. Sling is an awesome thing to have because there's a lot of things that you may be having to do around your camp or whatever, and you feel a need to have your shotgun on you. Got to have a sling. I like the neoprene slings that have these little glue pieces on there that help grip to your shoulder because it doesn't slide down your shoulder as much. But anyway, good sling, worth its weight in gold. All right, folks. Well, that's all I really wanted to talk about. Was more about the ammunition in the gun itself. I do like the configuration of the short vent rib barrel. It's tactical without being tactical. And in some cases, if you were around other folks, it may just be less intimidating to folks. All right, well, you take care. Thank you for watching my video, and as always, shoot straight. on the range and in life. Thanks.